Hello Tech Superstars, welcome to Arif Sir Science Hub, your pathway to success in Edexcel level computer science. It's me Arif Islam, you can call me Arif. Today we're going to talk about computer hardware. This is chapter 2 and lesson 2.1.1, and this is our second class. And in this class, we're going to talk about hardware including von Neumann computational model, RAM, ROM and cache memory. Von Neumann computational model. So the first computer was like the calculator. It will take some inputs, then it will process and give some outputs. But in advance, we introduced with another model in our previous class, the input, process, output and storage model. So this great model was proposed by Alan Turing and John von Neumann. So according to the name of John von Neumann, this model name is von Neumann computational model. Von Neumann architecture components. There are 4 components in this architecture. The CPU, central processing unit, the main memory, the RAM and ROM, the bus, and input-output devices. That means the I/O devices. So first of all, we'll talk about the central processing unit. That means the CPU. CPU is the core processing unit of the computers. So it executes instructions and perform calculations. It's basically referred as the brain of the computer because all the processing, calculation, and logical things will happen in this section. That's why it's called the central processing unit or the brain of the computer, and coordinates all operations in the system by the CPU. The second component is main memory, the random access memory, the RAM. So RAM serves the primary working memory of the computers. It stores data and instruction that the CPU need to immediately access. Data in RAM be read from written to quickly, and it provides temporary workspace for running applications, and it's volatile type memory. That means it will store temporary data. So RAM is referred as main memory. It serves as temporary storage used by the CPU, and it just store data and instructions. So RAM, basically referred as random access memory, is the main memory of the computer. It will store temporary data on the computer. When we want to store something on the computer, it can be considered as the writing, and when something retrieved from the memory, we can call it reading of the memory. Memory address. So memory address, where the actual data will be stored, that's called the memory address. That means the location of the memory will be addressed by some binary numbers. That's called the memory address. And volatile means it basically stores the temporary data. That means when the computer power goes off, then the data will be erased from the memory. So you can see here, there are some memory address in the binary form. So in this memory address or location, the CPU will store data or retrieve data. That means the read-write happens in the memory by using this memory address, and the CPU will read or write something, some instructions, some data or some informations in the storage device. Then read-only memory, the ROM. So ROM is non-volatile type memory, but is the primary memory or main memory. It is used to store programs that must run when the computer is first turned on. That means when you turn on your computer, first it will use to retrieve the information that's stored permanently. So the programs permanently stored in the ROM are referred as the firmware. So we know about the firmware. So these programs are typically small and designed for specific tasks such as initializing the hardware components and starting the operating system during computer startup. That means it will initialize the hardware and it will just start the operating system. So reading and writing are the same for RAM and ROM. So we already know that the CPU will read something or write something on the memory, and the memory address will be same for the RAM and ROM. That means same way the addressing or the binary numbers will be used as address or location of the memory. Cache memory. So in addition to RAM and ROM, most computers incorporate a third types of main memory known as the cache memory. And cache memory is a small but fast and relevantly most expensive memory used to bridge communication between devices operating at different speed, commonly between the CPU and RAM. Because the cache memory is more faster than the RAM and ROM. That means the fastest communications will happen by the help of these third types of memory, that the cache memory. So the purpose of cache memory. Cache memory acts as an intermediary between the CPU and the RAM, and frequently used the code or data is loaded in the chunks from the slower RAM into the cache, and the CPU access the cache memory at its own speed. That means cache is very fast memory. And there are some benefits for the cache memory. So this design ensures that the CPU doesn't experience delay while reading or writing something on the RAM. And cache memory significantly enhance the overall performance of the computer. That means it will increase the performance because it won't give any delay to the CPU. That means CPU immediately access the information from the cache memory. That's why CPU can work faster. Then overall performance will be increased by the help of the cache memory. So feel free to ask any question if you have. So if you have any confusions, you can ask me in the comment sections. And if you don't see my previous lecture, so the link will be included in the descriptions. So you can see the previous lesson or previous lectures. So thank you. That's all for today. See you in the next class.